myself in the bedroom for days, fighting with what life would be like for my 2-year-old. I cried and mourned. I mourned the loss of his speech. I mourned the loss of the friendships that he might have had in the future. I mourned the normalcy of his daily routines and the love relationships and maybe the grandchildren that, I wanted to have. I mourned the loss of control as a parent and my idealized family narrative. The careers he might have pursued if he were deemed normal by society, and the emotional burden of explaining why he was different in this society. But then a realization struck me that this was my story and not his. One day he would have the chance to share his own. I came to understand that my son wasn't less than anyone else. He was simply different. Yes, his development would be unique, celebrating birthdays from the age of 10, speaking at 6, but walking at 9 months, never crawling, not chewing normal food, but being able to chew all his snacks, but managing to enjoy all kinds of snacks. He may not fit in the conventional bracket of normal, but that was his normal. This difference meant he would find joy in his own way, excelling in the subjects that sparked his interest in school. Challenges may strip away our hopes and dreams and replace them with fear, but they also present us with opportunities to look at life in a very new perspective. They teach us resilience and remind us that there is always something better waiting at the end of the road. And I think today you have seen what that better side is. My journey as a caregiver truly began with a commitment to support Daniel Mali in becoming the best version of himself. I realized he would be my lifelong companion, and I had the power to shape our relationship and his life positively. This inspired the formation of our community-based organization, Mali Autism Awareness Center, which birthed two initiatives, the Mali Therapy Center and the Autism Moms Support Group. So we insisted that to move as one, we need to register ourselves, which led to those initiatives. The Mali Therapy Center is dedicated to early intervention, integration, and inclusion. Our success rate is unmatched. Since opening our doors in February 2022, we have successfully integrated 16 children into mainstream schools. The biggest challenge for any parent or caregiver with a child living with disability is education in this country. Finding a school or a curriculum that fits and is inclusive to the tertiary level is our biggest ask from our government. One of the most vital aspects of supporting individuals with disabilities is ensuring they have access to inclusive education, which not only allows children with disabilities to learn alongside their peers, but it also fosters understanding, acceptance among all the students. By creating an environment where diversity is celebrated, we empower children to appreciate differences and build empathy from a young age. So this lays a foundation for a more inclusive society where everyone can contribute to their unique perspective and talents, because we all know we don't have any special society. We only just have this one life to live. This year, the theme of the UN International Day of Persons with Disabilities serves as a reminder of the ongoing challenges faced by individuals with disabilities and the importance of our collective efforts to create a more inclusive world. So this day was established in 1992, and the main points were to promote understanding of disability issues, to mobilize support for the rights, dignity, and well-being of persons with disabilities, to promote inclusion of people with disabilities in all all spheres of society. I want to ask you, do you think we have made any stride in those 3 points? Say something. Yes, I think from 1992 we have made tremendous steps, and that is why we are here today celebrating this day. So to close off, I'd like to say that let us continue to advocate for a world where everyone, regardless of their abilities, can thrive. Together, we can create a future filled with understanding, support, and acceptance. Thank you very much. Your remarks? I hope we've all heard that. So I will go direct to my speech for the day. Standing on the protocols observed earlier, today we gather to honor and celebrate International Day of Persons with Disabilities, a day that encourages us to reflect on the journey of individuals with disabilities and the importance of an inclusive society. When I first received my son's diagnosis, the doctor described it as a lifelong disorder.
My name is Mercy Mugure. I am a woman with a physical disability. I work at Light for the World Kenya as a disability inclusion advisor, and I represent women with disabilities in the National Council for Persons with Disabilities as a board member. And when I was asked to grace this occasion and what has been happening the last 1 week, I've been thinking about last week we had a conference whereby we're looking back what has happened in this country for the last 20 years since the establishment of the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, since the establishment of Disability Act 2003, and the milestones that have happened. But as I kept thinking about all this, I've also kept thinking about my own journey, which started when I was 10 years old, when I got the disability. And as I'm thinking about today, I'm thinking about the parents, because I remember my mom being accused of going for witchcraft that backfired on her, and that is why I ended up with a disability. So for the caregivers, for the parents, this journey, there are so many of us who have walked your journey. Your tears, I can relate with them, because I remember it is now that I'm old, I can clearly think at some point my mom had depression because of the so much that she had to bear, because of the so much stigma, of the so much that comes when you have a child with a disability. And it is now that I'm an adult, I see the many frameworks, I see the many things we do that are targeting persons with disabilities, but we forget the pain of the caregivers. But I'm happy to say, as we're reviewing and pushing to the Parliament to have the new Disability Act, one of the things that will be happening is that we shall have at the legislative a caregiver as a representative, the way we have persons with disabilities. And also, again, I'm glad to say, from the National Council, we have been pushing for the new disability policy, and we are hoping 2025, if there is a gift we will be giving to this nation, is that policy. And the policy has really captured the issues that caregivers face, and the beauty about it is most of the challenges that the caregivers have been facing is well captured. We ensured there was public participation. We heard from the caregivers, and we have ensured it is still part of that national policy. So what we are hoping for and looking forward to is once that national policy comes to implementation, there is a lot that will change. Having said that, I will look at, I'm grateful to the government of Kenya that for the last financial year, we got a funding that is specifically for autism and the spectrum and the related disabilities, and it is up to 70 million. And I'm also happy to say that with that funding, the first thing that the National Council has been able to do is we did a monograph and research. We went to the 47 counties. We saw the challenges. What are the pains that the persons with autism in this nation are facing? I remember one during the FGD, that is the focus group interviews in Nandi, one mother saying, what is our challenges was that a child cannot fit in the mainstream school, or what she needs is just therapy. And I'm so happy with what the Mary Center you're doing. And again, I also want to confirm and confess, many other times during our board meetings, one of the challenges that the Secretariat has brought back to us at the board is how we are few, I mean few, speech therapists in this country. It is sad to know there are less than 20, actually around 10, for our whole 47 county, and these are some of the challenges we are having. We got the funding, we mapped, we did a mapping, we know there is need for so many centers. Nobody should be moving from all the way to Vika to Nairobi for therapy. If we are talking about a country where there is devolution, we acknowledge even services for persons with disabilities need to be so devolved to the places next to the people so that we can be able to serve this nation and more so persons with various impairments in this nation. So the commitment I'm saying is that we are not perfect, we have not reached the mark, but the National Council is purposing and is using the funds that are what is given to us, and there is that program that is cutting across. There are different supports that the caregivers are getting, including the school fees, because again we acknowledge the school fees for children with developmental disorders or disabilities is very high. So I will encourage us, I'll be sharing with that report the research that was done. I think it's very important for us to connect with this, and also the program that the National Council has been mapping out to the countries. It's in the initial stages, most of them. We are in that pilot stage where we are learning this is working, this is not working, and I'm inviting us all to partner, because National Council cannot achieve this alone. But when we work together, when we are looking at the end goal is the success, it's the transformation journey. It is not about who is doing what, it is us together, pulling the resources together, working together, and impacting the lives. And as I conclude and think about the leadership agenda, amplify the theme of this year, which is about amplifying the leadership of persons with disabilities so that we can have an inclusive future. An inclusive future cannot be inclusive if persons with autism are not on the table making decisions with the others. If we don't hold our children from as they grow up, as we do all these kind of interventions, because when we do the right interventions, when the early interventions are done the right way from the foundation, then we are sure we are building a future of inclusive leadership that involves all the diverse impairments within the disabilities, where people with autism don't need to be represented by their caregivers, but we do the right intervention, they are able to have those positions, they can have the leadership positions, they can go to the workplace, which I advocate for so much, they can be anyone. So I want us, and this is my last, on what I always say, when we say there is nothing for us without us, and when we say when you wear the shoe, you know how much it fits. Let's export our children, let's know there is no evil. It is not a punishment for you to be the one taking care of that child. So let's give the best that we can do, and let God strengthen us, and let's go and look for partners. Let's work together, and together we'll make that inclusive future that the theme of 2024 is talking about. Thank you so much. Greetings from Sylvia, Dr. Sylvia Mochoba. She's one of the board members representing the caregivers at the National Council, and she said that I should pass a love towards you. Thank you so much.
We have interacted with people. Let's give her a clap. Thank you so much. Let me start by saying that if you don't think about the children and other people with disability, I think you yourself has a disability, isn't it? And from what we have heard from the council, I think the children with autism, the council need not to define them into two. There's no extensive and there's no mild disability. So if you have to give finances, I think it's important that you don't classify disability into mild, middle, or intensive. Disability is disability and should be treated as a disability. Tuko pamoja? The other thing I want to say is that museums of Kenya, I think I'm a bit disappointed because I don't think if this hall was meant for music extravaganza, the mics could have behaved the same. But I think even if you do things in terms of disability, you did not give it the thought that disability people deserve. They deserve better than what we have gotten here today. And this is not only museums of Kenya, it's everywhere. People disregard persons with disability in employment, in accessing buildings, and I think it's a high time that we get people to implement all the policies that have been put in place for persons with disability. If you go to several buildings in this country, persons with disability are not able to access because the people who implement, and I think it's a high time that we put in our offices, in our employment, when we talk about an equal opportunity employment, I think we keep on lying because we don't give that equality to the persons with disability. And if we had people with disability at the policy making level, all those implementation by now, they could have been undertaken and they could have been implemented. The other issue I want to say about, the other day I was talking to a lady who gave birth to a child with autism, and I think this is a message to men. Let's not disregard or disrespect our women when they give birth to children with disability. It's not a singular act. We are both involved, men and women. It's not about a curse. It's not about a cultural practices. When you give birth to a child with disability, both of you are responsible, and men should not delegate that responsibility to women. For men who are here, let's take that responsibility and let's not divorce or separate from our wives because they have gotten birth to children with disability. It's a very common practice all over the country, and it's very, very shameful for any man who leaves a woman alone because they have given birth to a child with disability. And finally, I want to say that this country has a lot to gain if we give respect and we give what belongs to the persons with disability. We are not going to go far if we ignore the call for inclusivity in every thing that we do. I've seen several quotes, disability is not inability, but when it comes to giving money, when it comes to giving empowerment to the persons with disability, we only look for those people who are influential. Look at political, our political community. If you are not known, you can never be appointed or nominated to a particular seat. Why? Because the people who are marginalized with disability will remain marginalized. And then the people who talk about inability, disability, not inability, are the ones who are able. We continue giving money to the abled disability people and forget the ones who are in our villages who cannot be able to move, who cannot be able to raise their voice. And I think it's a high time that we go to the roots and look for those people who are marginalized, who cannot move from their homes, who cannot be able to air their views, instead of always looking for those who are able, who can be able to start a business. You keep on putting money into those people with businesses, and we never start a new business. Because if you look at the statistics, look at the people at the grassroots, none of them can tell you they started a business because of from the council. And that is a very big challenge. The people you have doing the business are the ones who have been doing business in this country for years. Many mothers who cannot be able to take their children for therapy, they don't get anything. But those mothers who are able to do therapy, who are able to come to your office, you continue pouring money into them because they are able to communicate and to access you. So it's important. Accessibility for the persons with disability has to be done from the grassroots. And this is a high time. We talk about women and men. We have heard about gender violence and all these other things. When it happens to a person with disability, even violence globally, these people sometimes, because they say the person who reports to the police station first becomes the complainant, isn't it? How long will it take a person with disability to move from her house in the village to go all the way to a police station to report? And when she gets there, she becomes the defendant. And I think it's a high time even the police officers, they need to be going door to door. When an act of violence has happened or robbery, they need to go to the homes of the persons with disability, record a statement from the comfort of their homes before they record a statement from the able people who have caused harm to them. If we do that, we give services to the persons with disability at the comfort of their homes, we'll say that this country is moving in the right direction. But as long as we wait for persons with disability to come to the police station and report, they will always become the victims as they are not able to rush to the police station and to record a statement before the perpetrators have done that. Tuko pamoja? And for those mothers who are not able to do therapies, I think the council needs to take it very, very seriously. I've done my own research. When you go around this country, like somebody who is in Busia today, where can they take a child for therapy in Busia? Do we have a place they can do that? A child in Lamu, where do they go for therapy? How much does it cost to do a therapy for a child? If you do not have that information, if we do not have therapy, I think it's a big challenge for the council to open therapy centers in the whole of this country. And for those who are already set up, they need to be recognized by the council and given funding and good funding, because we have seen how these children can do. If they are ignored, they will not be able to move any step closer to recovery. If we want our children to recover, we must empower the therapy centers like the Mari Center and others. And also, I think it's important that every government institution like the primary schools, they should have a therapy center if we need, even if we are serious talking about dealing with the issues of disability in this country. And with those few remarks, if there is anybody representative from the museums of Kenya.
Gentlemen, our caregivers, guests of the day, our children, good afternoon. My name is Marceline Mokera. I'm the Executive Director at Ushiriki Wema. Ushiriki Wema is an initiative of our chief guest of the day, who couldn't be here with us today, but she sends her love and her greetings. Mmezipokea? So pokeeni salamu kutoka kwa Mama Tesi Musalia. Ametutuma tukuje tuwasalimie na tusherekee na nyinyi leo. So I'm going to read her speech. I'm truly honored to be here with you today to celebrate this day with all of you. The theme for this year's International Day of Persons with Disability celebrations, amplifying the leadership of persons with disabilities for an inclusive and sustainable future, speaks to the heart of our collective mission. The principles of early intervention, integration, and inclusion, which will be discussed this afternoon by the different partners here today, are foundational in empowering children with disabilities, where they're given the best possible start, supported in their development, and provided with opportunities to thrive alongside their peers. According to WHO, an estimated 16% of the world's population experience significant disability, and this represents 1 in 6 of us. The autism spectrum disorder is estimated to affect about 1 in 100 children. Here in Kenya, when the 2019 census was conducted, it was estimated the proportion of the population with disability is at 3.5. We are yet to get disaggregated data on the different intellectual disabilities. We appeal to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, who in the 2019 census classified disabilities under different categories. Efforts should now be put into place to ensure that we get disaggregated data on the different intellectual disabilities, and it's collected and reported. At Ushiriki Wema, where Her Excellency is the patron, our mission is to continue to advance the wellness of the people we serve to live a very dignified life. One of our very key thematic areas is persons with disability. This is something she holds very dear to her heart, and that's why she sent us to celebrate this day with you. And today, we'd like to recognize the invaluable efforts and participation of partners in advancing the wellness of persons living with disability here in Kenya. As Helen Keller once said, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. The different speakers who came before me spoke about partnerships. NCPWD spoke about we can't do this alone. Mali Therapy Center said the same thing. As the government of Kenya strives to create an inclusive society where children with disability can fully participate and thrive through the State Department of Social Protection and Senior Citizen Affairs in the Ministry of Labor, who couldn't be here with us today but also send their regards. NCPWD, Dr. Mercy, thank you for your representation. We applaud you for your efforts in registering our children. Wangapi wako registered? How many people are registered? If you're here in the room, because today NCPWD has a desk outside in partnership with Mali Therapy Center to ensure that today when you leave this place, you're registered. But we want to urge the council, please increase your efforts in creating awareness of the different services that you provide beyond registration. Let the people sit here today know the different interventions you had, including access to special education, access to government subsidies and support tailored specifically for the person with disability in the fields of education, healthcare, training, and empowerment. When you do this, we will strengthen the different initiatives that you have to ensure their integration into the society. The Ministry of Health, we applaud your efforts in assessment, diagnosis, and management of the persons living with disability across the country. Because with this, you're able to get the documentation you require in order for you to be registered. We appeal to the Ministry of Health to continue with the ongoing training of healthcare providers, to continue to recognize and assess a wide range of disability, to help improve their diagnosis, early detection, and provide appropriate interventions. For the organizations here today, the different partners, you represent the power of partnerships in ensuring that the persons with disability rights are protected and they receive the support they need. We continue to encourage all of you to work together in close collaboration with the government, health institutions, and stakeholders. I want us to all take, I don't know if it will take a minute, I don't know how long we can clap, but I want us to applaud the unsung heroes amongst us here today, our caregivers. Our caregivers are our parents, our brothers, our sisters, our teachers. Can we please applaud them? The caregivers, we've heard from two today. Your dedication, your love, and your unwavering support for these children are nothing short of remarkable. You are the backbone of resilience, and your dedication goes beyond mere caregiving. You advocate for our children, you navigate the complex healthcare systems, and sometimes, as even Lucy had mentioned, you sacrifice your own personal and professional life to ensure the well-being of the children. Your efforts go unnoticed, but today we applaud your tireless efforts. Keep going. You are the strength, and your strength is the beacon of hope, because of you, we are going to make the world a better place. As I conclude, I appeal to all of us to unite in the fight to end stigma. As Dr. Kamau mentioned earlier, stigma from even your own spouse, because you've given birth to a child with disability. Can we all join hands to fight stigma? Every child deserves the opportunity to thrive, and it's up to all of us to create a society where inclusion and acceptance is the norm. Together, let's explore how we can strengthen these approaches to create a world where all the children have the opportunities they desire to thrive. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Tupigie Madam Makofi.
Powerful speech, and I think we really need to really follow on what he has said, because there are several people who are really suffering, and we need guidance like the way you have given. I have apologies from the Director General of National Museums of Kenya, Professor Dr. Mary Kikungu. Unfortunately, right now she is on a phone conversation with the CS, and she was not able to come, but she has given me a speech to read. Her Excellency Desi Mudavadi, who is a chief guest during this function, all protocols observed, I take this opportunity to welcome everyone to the National Museums of Kenya, where heritage lives on. NMK is pleased to host this important event, which is also marking the International Day of Persons with Disabilities 2024. I take note with appreciation the presence of representatives from Mali Therapy Center, United Disabled Persons of Kenya, Sense International, Guru Nanak Hospital, Inclusion Champions Society, Jesha Disability Services Kenya, Special Education Professionals. Thank you all for the partnership with NMK in observing this very important day. As an institution, we have taken deliberate steps aimed at disability mainstreaming. In this regard, therefore, I am pleased to highlight following achievements. NMK Disability Mainstreaming Committee was established and operationalized. Sensitization sessions carried out for staff on disability. Mainstreaming including training on how to handle persons with disabilities within our spaces. Within our spaces, accessibility by persons with disability has been enhanced by building ramps in key areas. This has enabled visitation by institutions like Choi Town Special School, based in Thika, to Nairobi National Museum on an annual basis. Inclusive education activities conducted within and outside NMK. For example, tactile programs for the visually impaired and art education programs for children with autism. NMK Service Charter translated into sign language and braille. Plans are underway to include more interventions. As you engage in this important occasion, I wish you fruitful discussion. That is the speech by Director General National Museums of Kenya, Professor Dr. Mary Kikungu. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me just say something I've gotten from the speech is that the museums of Kenya and what we had discussed, they are coming up with a program where even the visually impaired persons can be able to enjoy our culture and be able to visit the museum. And as partners, we are committing to make that a reality so that everybody is included in enjoying the museum facilities in this country. Because as you know today, most of our children, most of men and women who are not able to see properly, who are not able to see completely, will not be able to enjoy our museums. And I think it's high time even the government chips in to make sure that each and every person enjoys their life fully in this world. And now is my time to invite Marceline to come and lead the speech from Her Excellency Tessie Musalia.
I'm the director of Mali Therapy Center for Children with Autism, and today we are here to celebrate the International Day of Persons with Disabilities at the National Museums of Kenya. And the theme of this year is amplifying the voices of persons with disabilities for an inclusive society. I can say we have taken great strides in that journey because, as we have seen in the program today, we have been able to hear voices of the children living with disabilities. We have seen what therapy has done for them, and we have seen that with a lot of support from the government and other institutions involved, we can be able to even make greater strides. So our biggest ask for our government is to help us create policies, especially on inclusive education. The biggest challenge of any caregiver is taking their child to school. I'm telling you, it is not that the schools don't want us, but it is because that they are not facilitated to be able to take care of the needs satisfactorily. So if we are able to get a curriculum that is able to accommodate our children, if we are able to have therapy centers in schools, then we are able to talk of inclusion even in our education system. Thank you.